set to Martinelli.
Hello, Antonio. Nice to see you again.
Hello, good afternoon.
It's gone through Laporte. Rodri!
Dieser Lewandowski-Auftritt sorgt für Wirbel.
Looks like you lost another one.
Welcome to the listening Paper Talk. It's a Friday. Windows are about to close, and there's a lot. Yeah, man, guys. But I definitely against some.
What's good? Yeah, bro. Yeah, Sims again. Hope I'm sure it'll be a great show again. Discussing transfers. Looking forward to it, man.
Nah, no doubt, man. Obviously, man, we've been transfer window and there's been a lot of rumor.
Yeah.
And obviously, the one that caught my eye was the Manchester United one that Johnny van de Beek offer from Crystal Palace and
Yeah.
This echo is still killing us like
Yeah, I know, but let's hope that with time we'll get a hang of it and we'll see what it is. But I'm sure as we proceed, we'll be all right, man.
Yeah, man. So what do you think? Because obviously Johnny is linked to Palace and that deal is supposed to close.
Oh yeah.
And as well as Lingard Newcastle.
Yeah. Because Austin, when it comes to the two deals regarding Donny van de Beek and Lingard, I've been following it for quite some time now because of obviously they haven't been getting any game time. So now because of that, they've been looking for a way out. Well, one player still has a contract with the club. Both of them have contract with the club, but one is left with Lingard, left with 6 months to his contract.
Yeah.
So now, because of that, for Lingard as an individual, it has made it a bit difficult for him to get a deal through, because now Manchester United didn't take the chance of selling Lingard when they had the chance, when Ole was still the coach. They decided to still have Lingard within their ranks, and they told him that he's going to have game time. Fast forward now, Ole is gone. Even while Ole was there, he wasn't getting any chance of playing. So from what I'm picking up, or from the rumors that I've been hearing as well, Jesse Lingard is not willing to sign a new contract with Man United.
Yeah.
You see, so now because he doesn't want to sign a new contract, from how I'm observing it, Man United is trying to make things hard for Lingard, because if he leaves on loan right now, he gets to play for, let's say, Newcastle. If he does go there, let's say he plays good for the next 5-6 months, and then when the season ends, he doesn't have a contract with Man United anymore, which means he can go to any team that he wants. Yeah. So now Man United is trying to force to sell him instead of loaning him, and he doesn't want to leave on loan, on as a permanent transfer. He wants to leave on loan, so that when the season ends, he has options to choose which team he wants to go to. Because there's rumors that we do know West Ham wants him, but there's also rumors that Hotspurs or Tottenham Hotspur also wants him, and they can make a plan of getting him when the season ends and the new transfer season has started again. So now it's one of those situations of he doesn't want to leave on a permanent. Manchester United don't want to let him leave on loan, because he goes on loan, it means they can't get any money for him anymore. So now, from I think I saw like a I don't know if it's true, but on Twitter that now Lingard won't be going anywhere now. He's gonna be staying with Man United. So that deal, like I said, I feel like it has collapsed because obviously they don't want to let him go on a free. If they let him go now on loan and they don't get any money for him, it means he goes on a free, you know. And he will remain at Man United and he won't play. And then with Donny van de Beek, you see when it comes to that kid, like it's one of those situations. I feel like many fans who have been watching are so pissed off with this situation. He was signed to Man United from Ajax, hasn't been really playing, and most of us have seen how good of a player he is. And then we look at Man United. Man United is already lacking midfielders, but he has not even been given a run of, you know, that thing of being like, okay, let us test you out. Let's see what you can offer, you know, because we've seen players like Fred, McTominay for so long now, and they play crap. I feel like so many of us, as you know, Man United fans or English Premier League fans, we can sit and say these two players are trash. They are not consistent. Obviously, there's games where they play good, and then but now when majority of the time we've seen them not play good as midfielders, you know, or let me be specific, as defensive midfielders, they can't do their work properly. So now, if they can't, and you have other options outside, then as a coach, you should at least try other options and see if, let's say, Donny van de Beek will work. But they haven't really used them. Instead, they give him like 5 minutes, like 10 minutes. And most times, if they give him that 5 or 10 minutes, you find out that maybe we're losing. If we're losing, what do you expect him to do with the 10 minutes? He tries. For people who actually watch football and know how he plays, they see that he's actually done more than the people who were playing, who got substituted for him. But he never gets, you know, to start a game in the English Premier League. So with him as well, it's still a doubt. There's a rumor that he might get his loan move on Monday, on the actual last day of the transfer. There's a rumor that he might get that move and go to Crystal Palace. But as for now, because if you look at it, it's really an easy deal. Man United is not playing him, and then Crystal Palace wants him. You just let him. You just let them have him. It's he's gonna be leaving on a loan, so you let them have him. He gets to play and establish himself in the English Premier League, and for maybe even the Man United coaches or even the manager, the current one, or the incoming one, if there's gonna be a new manager coming, he's gonna see that this guy actually has things to offer, even though most of us we know he has. But in terms of the English Premier League, we haven't seen much. Only a bit, but even that bit that we've seen, he's actually performed. So for him to go to a team like Crystal Palace on loan with the young players that they have, I feel like it would be great for both parties. Both like Donny van de Beek and Man United. He goes to play for Crystal Palace. He gets his form up. He gets to play, gets used to the English Premier League, and then he will be playing good, and we'll have a player that is in form, because then you'll know how you're going to use them. But instead, the way, because it's one of those things. Man United already is because they don't have the middle fielder that they want, which is making it hard. And now they are blocking moves for these players who are supposed to be going. You know, at least, especially someone like Van de Beek, he still has 3 years left in his contract. He's still gonna be with Man United. You know, so instead of trying to sell him because you haven't really used him, then take him on loan, let him establish himself, let him play, you know. And then when that happens, by the time a new manager comes in, he can make the decision if he wants to sell him or keep him. It's better to sell a player that has actually played than there's actually teams that want him. You can even get profit from selling him. But right now, if, let's say, Man United decides to sell Van de Beek, I doubt we'll even get back the money that we sold him for. We bought him for. We bought him for 35 million as Man United, and I highly doubt that we'll get that amount of money if he doesn't get a run of games with either Man United or with another team. So yeah, it's tough, dog. It's tough.
No, I hear you, man. You made some like real points on both players and them.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Lingard situation, it's a little bit and United.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, apparently what I heard is that Manchester United wanted incentive.
Yeah.
You know, in case Lingard played a good role or a huge role, should say, in helping Newcastle stay up in the Premier.
Yeah.
So they wanted around 12 million, if that's what I've heard. And then Newcastle really dwelling. So I think they left because
Yeah.
I can see why they do that because let's be honest, all these past years have been run down by these clubs. You know, these small clubs will be telling us pay 150 million or 100 million
Yeah.
sort of player. But then when they come to us for our player, they want to pay as minimal as possible.
No, true.
Understand? So Man United expected Ralph has here and Judge coming CEO from Edward. You understand?
Yeah.
So I think change their approach in terms of how they
Yeah. No, true. But just to add on what you were saying, it's one of those situations. Man United is a big club. And them being a big club, when you have the right people in place, it's easier to do some of these things that have been failing to do. I mean, how is it hard to just make sure that as the board, you put the right people in place who know their job, go and deal with transfers, go and deal with players' contracts? Because I mean, it's not only Lingard who is who has a few months left on his contract. And Man United, they watch that happen. And that's my problem. It has happened with even a lot of players. Some players have actually left freely as a free agent. You remember Herrera as well. He left as a free agent. Exactly, you see. So it's a failure of the board itself from actually employing the right people who actually know how to actually run the club as a football club, not as a business. Because that's one thing that I think over the years that we've seen with Man United, when, like you said, when we go to other clubs, they're able to get the money they want for their players that we want to buy. I mean, we paid 80 million for Maguire, and anyone in the world knows that there is no way they should have paid that amount, but they did. We paid 50 grand for 50 million for Wan-Bissaka. We paid 50 million for Wan-Bissaka. The way he's playing, we shouldn't have paid that much. We could have gotten two world-class or quality right backs if we wanted. 25 million each. If we just decided to use our scouts and go and actually search all over Europe or even Brazil. You see teams like, I'll use an example, teams like Real Madrid. Who knew Vinicius and Rodrigo when Madrid went and got them in Brazil? I won't lie, I didn't know both of these kids. You know, but they, but you see, but Real Madrid, a big club, and when I say a big club, looking at the last decade, Real Madrid has been a big club compared to Man United, but they still go and buy a player that most people do not know. With Man United, all the time we buy a player, we must buy a big player that is going to end up costing us close to 100 million. Even Sancho, yeah, he's a good player. But we could have gotten players that were cheaper. But instead, what did we do? We went for the English buyers. He's English, you know. Because if you check the last transfers that we've done with English players, we bought Maguire, like I said, 80 million. Wan-Bissaka was 50, Sancho 75. 3 players, we spent so much money. And the money we spent, I feel like we could have bought close to the whole, like a whole new squad with that money if we just decided to go and search properly and do our research and send out scouts. I mean, for example, right now, Man United is looking to try get a midfielder. There's a midfielder. I'm sure you've heard the rumors. Zakaria.
Yeah.
He's worth right now. He's worth 6 million because his team's trying to get rid of him. Because if they leave him until the season ends, he'll go as a free agent. They trying to sell him now for 6 million. What is Man United doing? Man United are chilled. You know, instead of going towards the player and be like, Yazini, let's get this player because it's actually cheap. You know.
Yeah.
But instead, they'll want to go get a player that is so expensive. And looking at the past 2 years, the rumor that I've been hearing is that they want Declan Rice from West Ham. Already, English player who is going to cost you close to 70 or 80 million. And it's like, why? There's players that are, there's players that are cheaper, like 10 times cheaper than what Declan Rice is. But instead, what will we do? So, Man United and its board, it's one of those things like every time they do the same, they're committing the same mistakes. It's all the time, same mistakes, you know. So I don't even know how we're gonna, because even look at now, we're talking about Herrera. Pogba is the same situation, you see, and he's a good player. We bought him for, was it 80 million? Ne? Was it 80 or 90, if I'm not mistaken?
89 million. 89 million.
You see, he's gonna live on a free. We won't get any money in return for him. We spent, but we won't get anything in return. And when I say anything in return, even when you look at the past 5-6 years he's been with Man United, he hasn't really been consistent enough where you then maybe look at the performance and what he's done for Man United and say, okay, even though we're not getting money in return, but he's actually done so much for Man United. He hasn't. He's performed, but he hasn't been consistent how everyone has expected him to be. And he's going to live on a free. And that's what I'm saying. When does Man United get the right people in place to actually get to make money from players that are going, players that want to leave? So Man United,
Yeah, man. You can say everything about Manchester United. In terms of us, the way we run our club, is very problem. Because when you actually look at the way these guys conduct business, you can't really call them businessmen because they're
true.
not doing
No,
that
true.
right itself.
No, true.
So
True.
you know, the structures of the club, they're rotten. Like, let's be all honest about that. It's a political powerhouse. You understand? People want to hold on to power too much. So they don't allow football people come in and make the right decisions because they want to hold on to that power play.
No, true.
And apparently they want to slightly change that. But I don't know, how much power is Ralph Ragnick gonna get? Midfielder right through the drive, like right now. You understand? Because he is he's a midfielder.
Yeah.
And apparently, the scouts said that career someone should be gold, but now the board have a different opinion.
You see? You see?
That's the problem because these guys have been like that. Our scouts have always been telling us about hidden gems since the time when Van Gaal was there.
Yeah, true.
You know, I remember that story where Ryan said that Mbappe, he offered Mbappe to Manchester United. Mbappe and Gabriel Jesus. And Man United rejected.
Exactly.
Both of the players. So
it's not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah. So you know that's not even a scouting problem. It's a board problem.
Yeah,
because
no, true.
Guys are now, you know, they made decisions, and these decisions don't have longevity. They're not.
Yeah.
Always trying to buy a Galactico here instead of paying.
Exactly. Yeah.
You understand?
True. No, true. I agree with you there.
Nah, man, but otherwise, man, if we keep talking about Manchester United, we're gonna have headaches. I'm not gonna lie. You know,
well, we are gonna have headaches, but to just leave a point, maybe
yeah,
to people listening as Man United fans, if it does go through. Now, before we started talking, I saw that Man United are seeking to sign Kamara. So
yeah,
like you said, when it comes to Man United, we always looking to sign people, but we never really do. So it's that thing of exciting people, but at the same time, you can just sit there and not be excited because you know how our team will end up doing. So yeah, discussing about Man United just gives us a headache. So yeah, maybe shifting a bit because yeah, Man United. hey.
my God. Nah, but otherwise, besides that, the interesting team that's trying to cause havoc is Newcastle.
Hey, you
United
see
is
that?
trying to find everyone, man.
Yeah, but Newcastle and Aston Villa, those two teams.
Hey,
You see, those two teams already. What's this? When you look at Aston Villa, as we're comparing the two, they've already signed like 2, 3 players just in Jan. One loan, and then Lucas Digne from Everton. They're showing that they actually want to do havoc in the league. You know,
yeah,
so and Newcastle get their ways because they have the money for days.
they've got the
You know.
richest owners.
Exactly. The only thing that is stopping Newcastle is if the players are willing to come to them. Because remember, right now, they have an issue of if they do not make it out of the relegation, then it'll be the same as a waste. You sign all of these players and then get relegated. You can have all the money in the world, but you get relegated if you don't get the number of points you need to stay up. So right now, what could happen is that they could sign all of these players, and then that could help them stay up. And they are actually signing good players. Like then even the numbers that I'm seeing that they're trying to buy certain players for, it's like, yay, they have the man. You know. So if they get the right combination of players, already they've even signed 2 players already. Yeah, they signed Trippier, and then they signed the ones that I remember, Trippier and Wood from Burnley.
Yeah, I remember that.
You see, yeah. So they've already signed players that can actually help them and fill up other spots. Because Aniti, what's this? When you look at Newcastle, they have injuries in up front as well. So now they just bought another player. If they survive, and then you look at the next season, already they have about, if you look at positions, 2 or 3 players in one position. There'll be a sorted team. Because one thing that usually messes up the smaller teams is that you can have one good 11, but if you don't have other good players outside, and some of your players get injured, the rest of the season you're screwed. You know. But now the way they are buying now, because they just bought Trippier, we all know Trippier. He could be 30 or 31, but the way he plays, he's a great player for Newcastle. You know.
Yeah.
So he can help them stay up. So hey, and imagine Newcastle, they are still looking to sign more players. Other players, they tried signing, but you see, hey, dog, it's crazy. You know, so if it wasn't for the fact that certain players don't want to go to Newcastle because it's seen as a small team, you know, because that's the problem right now. Newcastle is seen as a small team, and because of such a situation, players that are looking for a step up, they won't go to Newcastle because they're looking for a step up, and the step up is going. If you're looking at England, it's going to teams like Man United, Man City, Tottenham Hotspur, Arsenal, Aston Villa. Those are teams that already are going up, you know, or some are already big teams. But Newcastle, that's the only thing that's gonna mess them up. So with them, what they can do is to just use their scouts, go and get those young players that most people don't know. Because I saw there's a Brazilian player that they want to sign. I think he plays in France, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Bruno something. I don't know if it's I don't know if that's
it's Bruno.
Yeah, that player. I don't even know what the player is. Is he what position does he play?
He's a midfielder.
Oh, the midfielder.
This guy is good, man.
Yeah,
And we
you know,
a lot of our fans actually wanted him as well. But then
yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, so you see, that's the thing now. They will sign that guy already. They have the players that they have. They sign that guy. They're gonna stay up, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If Newcastle is smart enough, they can just decide to go for smaller players, or let me say players that are not known but are actually gonna be big. You go to Brazil, for example. We've seen how, like I use Madrid as an example. You go to Brazil, South America, you saw Man City just sign that kid we're also looking to sign, Alvarez. You know, he's scoring goals like crazy, and he only cost Man City 17 million. Imagine Newcastle using about, let's say, 100 million, but signing about 4 or 5 players. That would be great for them. Instead of looking to sign those marquee signings we're talking about, those Galacticos type of signings, if they just decide, no, 100 million, let me go. And even in the English Premier League, for example, I can even use an example. They can go to teams like Norwich. You go to Norwich, there's players you can find that you can actually sign, that can actually make Newcastle better teams. Or you go to the Championship, for example. They can go there and actually get great players, because some of those teams are still going to come back to the English Premier League again. You look at those great players that they have now. If they're willing to let them go, you pay that 20 million or 25, you get your player. You're done. Because for example, a player that I've always liked when I use Norwich as an example, Aaron. I just forgot his whole name, but it's Aaron something. I think he's a right back or left back. Right back, right back. Before they decided to go sign Trippier, they could have just gone and signed that kid, because he's still young. And his team might even get relegated. That's what I'm saying. When you have scouts, you can get the best players that most people don't know about. It makes it easy. So, but Newcastle, I understand why Newcastle are moving as they are moving now, because they have the money. And if they are allowed to spend 200 million right now, they will.
Hey, bro, that's the thing. They're taking advantage of this whole loaning business. Structure, as well as acquiring these players who can keep them within the Premier.
Exactly, yeah.
It's very vital, and if they can get the right players through the transfer. I think they will stay up. They will be going forward.
Exactly, you see. So adding on that point you said about loans. Now, you're right. It is actually a smart move for them to get some of these players on loans. Because you get some of these players on loans, they do a great job for you in keeping you guys up. Even if you don't want to still keep these players, you can then, when the season has ended, you use the time to proper scout and sign the players that you want. But as for now, they can just spend the money for loans, because they know that if let's say the player flops, you didn't buy the player, or you're not forced to buy the player. So it actually helps you, because you're like, okay, loan. That's why I said Lingard and people like that, they continue doing good. If they get, let's say, loans, if Lingard gets the loan, if it might still happen, he does great. And then if he does do great, he will then choose, do I still want to maybe stay in Newcastle? And Newcastle has money. They can give him the amount of money that he wants. I mean, looking at the players that Newcastle has, Lingard has played in the Champions League, has played in the English Premier League longer. So if they want to give him 250 million per week, no one is going to come and complain. They are not even paying any transfer fee. No one is going to complain. They'll just be like, Lingard has been in the English Premier League. He played for a big team, which allowed him to get the money he's been getting for this number of years. So, it'll be a save for them, and it will also be good for Lingard. Lingard can create a name for himself there, by just getting there, keeping them up. And if he decides to stay, he'll become like a hero there. He plays as Newcastle continues to buy good players. Newcastle is going to become the next Man City.
Yeah.
Because Because we must not forget, Man City became the Man City that it is today because of they went and bought the players with the money they had. And as they continued, growing in the league, even bigger players wanted to come to Man City. We see now, Grealish easily went to Man City because, they are now a big team as well. They're winning leagues. Everyone wants to go to Man City. You see.
Yeah, man. Since we've got a Liverpool, I'm scrolling days,
Yeah.
Moving to the Liverpool, Luis.
Oh yeah. Is it Louis? Is it Luis Diaz? Ne?
Yes, from
Yeah. Yeah. I think they done signing him, right? Or are they still in negotiating?
Yeah, I think it's in the final stage. Just the Porto meant to give his blessing on that transfer. You know how it is. Money. So I think they will end up and letting it go through because keeping an hit player is very bad for the team.
Yeah.
I think they will.
Yeah.
16 million. That's what I'm hearing.
Imagine. And just look at the whole situation. The player they are signing a player who plays in the same positions as your Firmino, Mane, Salah. Imagine. And already, remember, they have Jota.
Yeah.
Right?
Again,
they have players like Minamino. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because if we look at teams, I know I didn't want to use this team as an example.
Yeah.
But if you look at Man United as an example, we've always had an issue of you can't have let's say three well-established players in one position. Because they'll start infighting, they'll be fighting, this one would want to play. But you look at a team like Liverpool. Liverpool has so much players in one position, and all of them are happy because they know that, okay, I get there, I perform, I'll get my chance. A coach like Klopp has made them comfortable enough to know that even if I sign for Liverpool and there's a player like Salah and I'm signing to play in Salah's position, I'll still play. When they signed Jota, most people thought, who is Jota going to bench? But Jota got to Liverpool and created a name for himself. He's doing things that players like Salah, Mane are doing less. He's able to head the ball. As short as he is, he's able to head the ball and score. Even when Mane and Salah, as AFCON is playing right now, he was able to, it's like they were not even there. He was doing things that, they usually do if they're there, or things that do not do. And they've been winning games. He's scoring braces. He was close to even scoring a hat-trick, and this is a well-run team. Liverpool doesn't have the same amount of money as your Man City, your Man United. Which other team can I use as an example? Okay, Newcastle, but they always able to get the right players that they know they need. Because that's the thing, Liverpool, they know which players they need. They know which positions they need to buy players, and they go and get that player. And at times, someone else will say, this player will cost Liverpool 60 million. But when they know that as much as I'm paying this amount of money, for example, I'm adding a player that I know we need, But Man United, they'll go and, for example, when they went and decided to add Cavani, for example, that deal did not make sense to me. Because it's like, okay, I see getting Cavani because you couldn't get a big striker that you wanted. But already Man United had Rashford, had Martial, had Greenwood, had who else? Diallo, players that can play in that position, who most teams want. But us, we're like, no, you want to get that Galactico type of player. As much as you have a Greenwood or a Rashford, you want a Galactico type of player. It's like, why? Other teams, you look at Arsenal. Arsenal has Saka there. Saka is doing the most because they saw that he's a good player. They gave him the chance and the game time, and he's doing the most. You see, and then you look at Man United. I'll use Ilanga as an example. If that player was used during Ole time, because he was the one who started talking about Ilanga, but he never used them. So imagine if Ole had started using players like Ilanga, players like Diallo, who are young players who actually, if they are given a run of games, they're going to play great. And that's what we see with teams like Liverpool, Man City. Foden comes from development, but he's playing like a player that Man City went and bought.
Yeah.
You see, if
But
Man City was to sell... Yeah?
I think what helps also Foden affects he's been properly and he's thrown into it where he's not under pressure performing immediately. Like he's not trying all eyes are on him to you understand?
No, true.
Whereas
No.
I think when we bring in our players through, it's pressure. Immediately. People are like expecting you to do this.
Yeah.
They throw those type of environments. Some will flow, but I think majority of the time they struggle under pressure.
No, true. You see, with the point you just made in terms of using Man City and Foden, that he was well managed. I agree with you there, because if you look at how Rashford, Greenwood, when they came into the scene, we were like, damn, these players are good. That was us as the Man United fans or the English Premier League fans. We're like, these two players are so young, but they are so good. But one thing that has messed up those players is that after they broke into the scene, they were not well managed. You know, Rashford has played the same way he's played when he came in as a youngster. Greenwood has also played the same way. And when I say the same way, you can't be a winger and you still play the same way you played when you came in, which is playing like a striker. You always want to shoot, which means that the coaches are not doing their jobs, and maybe the manager is always not doing their job because there's no improvement. You know, and when I talk about Man United and improvement, you look at Wan-Bissaka, for example, improvement of him being able to cross. He's been with Man United for the past 2 seasons now. 2 seasons, right? Yeah. But when you look at improvement of certain skills that he needs to have as a right back, he hasn't really improved crossing. And we know that a Man United team wants a right back and a left back that are able to cross the ball properly. But he hasn't really improved. It's like, okay, if he doesn't improve, who has to help him to improve? The coaches and the manager. So if he's not improving, then what does it mean? Who is messing up? Is it the player or the coach? Because you can't tell me that all the players that I've mentioned, they've been unwilling to learn and reestablish themselves with whatever skills that they already have. You can't tell me that Greenwood didn't want to learn. I mean, we can always say Greenwood, Rashford are selfish as players. But then at the same time, why are they continuously being selfish players? Who has the power to tell them otherwise, but is not telling them? You see? So when it comes to Man United, I always feel like players are just running themselves. It's like they have the power more than the coaches, more than the manager. Because you look at a club, we've seen Salah and Mane clash before because Salah didn't want to pass the ball to Mane. But they get along. Klopp managed to sort that issue out and they get along. Man United, you'll see Greenwood not passing the ball to Rashford or Rashford not passing the ball to Greenwood, and then they get pissed off at each other, or Cristiano getting pissed off at maybe Rashford or Greenwood for not passing the ball, which partly he's within his right because as a striker, you're expecting the ball to be put in the box. And you're a striker and no ball is coming in. You know, so when the ball is not coming in as a striker and the ones who are supposed to bring the ball in are not, who are you going to blame? You can blame the players to an extent, but then what are they doing in training? Are they not doing the same thing? And if they are always taking the ball and trying to shoot, as the coach and the manager, what are you telling them?
Yeah, that's the thing, and I think it stems from the previous announcement, because obviously telling the likes of Greenwood, when you get the ball, just you understand, just do this. That was no sufficient for a lot of these players. These players, I think, like progressed in terms of the overall play. Because when you look
Exactly.
at
Yeah,
them,
true.
when they joined until now, there was nothing being drilled into basically. Social was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
going to the field and you guys enjoy yourself. You know those sort of things
Exactly.
where our PE teachers used to tell us, in school. That's why
True.
Coach was called a PE teacher. Basically, that's what he's telling the players to do. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
He
yeah.
doesn't tell them, you know what, when you get into this position, you do this, you do this, this guy, or if you don't have any other call, that's when you shoot or you shoot. You could see that
Yeah.
it was
True.
but yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Obviously, moving away from a little bit, Arsenal, bruh. Arsenal since they challenge us for that top four. Apparently, Aubameyang might end up at Juve or Barca because both teams
Yeah.
have approached.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you see, when it comes to this situation, it's one of the situations of Arteta clash with the player, and after clashing with the player, it seems like there's no way back because they clashed, and then he immediately put him out the team. He made an example, like it's one of those because he's the captain, so I'm guessing he made an example using him, but at the same time, it's an example that had to be made, and because now the rest of the players they know that you need to respect the coach. You need to follow the rules of the coach when it's around the time of playing or of having to come to training. So, I won't lie to you. I did foresee this because I was like, seeing that already he didn't have the right strikers. I mean, he chose to play with Lacazette up front while he has Aubameyang, and he's a better player than Lacazette. So when I saw that, I was like, nah, I don't think this guy will be coming back because I mean, Lacazette, he misses a lot. That's the thing. He misses that guy. So to choose to play him up front and then give him the captain armband, it means you're chilled with him, and so much that you don't even mind sticking your former captain in the bench, or not even in the bench, in the reserves. So I don't see him coming. He might end up going to Barcelona, maybe, or because you said Juventus as well, right?
Yeah.
But now with Juventus, because there's so many rumors flying around that you end up getting confused. When you speak about Juventus just signed this guy, man. Is it Dusan Vlahovic? Or they signing him now, or they just signed him?
Yeah. So I don't think these rumors are because you know how it is. Aubameyang's agent is so that he can court
Yeah.
So I think you very in terms of
Yeah.
That's actually a good sign.
Yeah, no, it is. But let's see, because you remember you spoke about loans. Teams using loans as a way of getting certain players. That could happen. Juve might decide, okay, let's get him and let's see how he performs in the next 6 months. And the reason I'm saying that is because there were rumors that Morata is looking to go to Barcelona on loan, right? Yeah, and already Morata is on loan from Atletico. So now he's a striker. If he leaves, then it will make sense for another striker to come in. So let's wait and see. He could, because like I said, if this one is looking to leave, we'll see. But a lot of teams are using loans as a way to get certain players, and it's helping them. No lie.
And obviously, Barcelona was Adama Traore.
Yay!
That kind of surprised me because people are like, what is happening? You go from Messi now to Traore.
Bruh. But the thing is, when it comes to him, what made me laugh though when it comes to Adama Traore was that Hotspurs wanted to sign him. Conte wanted him.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, no, U10, he's no longer going to Tottenham Hotspurs. He's going to Barcelona. How, guys? And he's actually going back to Barcelona, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's from yeah, he's actually from that.
You see. So now, like, I won't lie, that was a shocker to me. It was like, what? But looking at the type of player that he is, I feel like he's gonna cause havoc there. No lie, because the type of football that they play in Spain is they don't use a lot of power and strength, right? And already when you've played in a league like a English Premier League, I feel like you have so much skill and so much experience to play in any league. You can actually perform in any league. So that's why I'm saying it was good for him to leave Barcelona to go to England, but it's also going to be great for him to now go back to Barcelona or to Spain after playing in England, So it was a shock move, but yeah, because I even saw a video of him arriving in Barcelona actually. So yeah, it's a great deal for him and for Barcelona because already they've been lacking in players, So yeah, it's a great deal for them. So I won't lie to you, I can't wait. As much as Barcelona is not my team, but I can't wait to see that guy perform and see what he's going to do.
So now people are saying, you know how people are.
Yeah.
They're saying there's two bodybuilders now. Manchester
no, but they are big. Yeah. No, but you see that they are big. But one thing I'll give to Adama Traore, though, as big as he is, I can run. Because it's a problem if you're that big and you want to play football and you can't even run, you don't have the pace. He can handle his body. So that's the one part. It's like, okay, he's big, but he can play. Because when you use Memphis as an example, that one. Talking about my cousin Celso, he does not like him. He's like he's the weakest link, he's a fraud. And I look at him, I'm like, no, but you can't say he's a fraud. He didn't sign himself to Barcelona. They scouted him, they signed him because they saw that he has something to offer to Barcelona. So now all of a sudden, there's certain fans saying he's a weak link, he's a fraud. I'm like, how? Barcelona themselves, they decided we're signing him,
Right.
So I don't even know how Barcelona is going to play because up front, now they have Torres, now they have Fati, now they have Memphis, now they have who else? They have I feel like they have so many players up front, and it's like, how are you guys now going to play again? That's me. That's me coming with my question.
This could create an exodus because now when you actually think about it, I'm hearing that Dembele is leaving as
you see, imagine Dembele is leaving. You see, I'm really, I don't even know what, because I don't even know what Barcelona are trying to do, because that's my problem. They buying certain players before they've even done more than 2 years. They want to leave because who is this? That kid from Netherlands, the one who plays center, is it De Jong?
Frenkie De Jong.
Yeah, he also wants to leave apparently, or they want to sell him. And I'm sat there like, how? This kid has not even been there for that long, and already you want to sell him. So that's why I'm like, hey guys, like I feel like Barcelona is trying to buy success right now, because remember, they've always had a great team and their team aged, So I feel like they're trying to buy a great team, and that's why it's like they're experimenting. They're buying this player, they're selling this one. They're buying this player, they're selling this one. So that's why I'm like, I just want. Yeah.
I think they ended up in the cycle that we were trying to get out of. You know, that cycle where we also trying to, you know, and we're still somewhat doing it, but I feel like it might change in 2028. But then Barca, I think, are gonna be stuck in that.
Yeah, nah, Barcelona already they're in a situation like because check Coutinho, for example. They bought Coutinho. Coutinho is now loaned to Aston Villa. Coutinho was loaned to Bayern Munich. He even won a Champions League with Bayern. And he was actually playing. So that's another funny part where you're like, oh, Barcelona. You see, he went to Barca to win Champions League, but he ended up winning Champions League with Bayern. And it's like, hey, you see? Hi, it's rough out here.
My God.
Nah, it's rough.
Yeah.
You see, so because Madrid are actually looking at Madrid. I feel like they've always been smart. You can call them whatever you want to call them in terms of how the president runs the team, but the way they do their business, they're smart. Because as much as there will be players that are aging, there'll always be players that are young and actually upcoming, and they'll be great. You know, because check Real Madrid now. They have Cruz, they have Modric, who are old. But in the bench, they have who? They have your Asensio, they have Camavinga, they have Valverde, they have even other players. I don't know if Diaz.
And guess what?
Yeah.
They linked with two men from Monaco as well. Looking to sign.
You see? Do you hear that?
That's how big teams move. That's how big
you see? Do you hear?
move.
Exactly. Yeah. No, true. You know, so a big team is smart enough to realize that, you know what, if I get there and sign this player, even though he's not that established as of yet, but he's a great player because you're signing him for the position that you need. That's why I always get confused with Man United or other teams that are unable to buy the right players. You must look at the position where you're short and then look at scout players that you need. And then you see that one or that two and be like, this two, I feel like they'll be the great addition to my team. But other teams, like they buy and then the player fails. How? Because if you're buying that player for the skills and how he plays and for his talent, then he should be able to fit there. You know, I mean, look at Camavinga. He went to Madrid immediately. He was fitting. He was already assisting and scoring goals.
Exactly.
You see, so with this other teams, it's a pain, man. It's a pain.
Yeah, but then I like the way Real Madrid Perez is a very person.
Or you mean Chelsea?
I mean Real Madrid. Real Madrid.
Real Madrid.
They're running the club.
No, true.
One of the most efficient sides in how they play.
Yeah.
And the transition.
Oh, that's the good thing with Madrid. I mean, they lost Sergio Ramos, they lost Varane in one go, but they've replaced them. You won't come and say Madrid is lacking at the back. They don't have good defenders. They easily replaced them. They have Alaba, they have Militao, they have Nacho. They were easily replaced. You see. So instead, teams like Man United, it takes years to try and replace a player like Cristiano Ronaldo. He even has to come back to the team. So they've replaced Cristiano Ronaldo with Cristiano. Imagine.
It's a tragedy.
Because you look at the past number 7 that Man United has had, they've all been trash. We haven't had one that has been consistent. The only one that I can say kind of comes close because of the way he was playing. He was able to uplift Man United. But because of also Cavani, but because of also his injuries, he hasn't been able to actually peak what Cristiano did before he left. Because you look at players like Sanchez, Di Maria, who else? Like a lot of players that played using that number 7 shirt were not able to do half or even quarter what Cristiano did. And it's like, exactly. And it's like, how do you replace players? How do you scout?
Now you see the problem I saw with Manchester United. It was existent during the time with the elected state. People didn't see it.
Yeah.
It pissed me off, especially when we picked Ronaldo. And we replaced him with Valencia, Owen, and Gabriel Oberton. That's when I saw there was a problem.
You see,
understand?
imagine
Because
exactly.
prior to that, we people were calling out, especially when Green was actually calling out for us to sign David Silva and David as the replacement.
Imagine.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I saw that there was a problem, because people only noticed this problem after September. I saw this problem a long time ago. We were running it up, and into the ground, and it's gonna catch up.
You see,
Not
not true. So it's one of those situations. It's like, I don't know, should Man United go and buy a whole a staff from like Real Madrid and be like, we just want to buy, maybe they get it like, yeah, we see players, but we just want to buy your staff. Because I feel like that's what is messing up Man United right now. Our backroom staff, I don't think they know what they're doing, or what's happening is that there's people who know what they're doing, but they don't have the power to make those decisions.
Yeah.
So because what is happening now, Man United is turning into an Arsenal. Remember how Arsenal were great, and then they started going down when they still had Wenger. They didn't go and buy the right players that they would need, but they would always lose players. They lost Van Persie, Fabregas, Henry, but they failed to replace those players in the right way. Yeah, their development always had good players, but if you do not replace a great player with another great player, how do you expect to continue pushing? So it's one of those situations where it's like, we're speaking about Liverpool. Liverpool is replacing players that are still there. They are replacing your Mane or your Salah or your Firmino while they're still there. They are signing Jota, signing Minamino, and these players are young. Already your Mane and Salah, they are around 30, 31.
Yeah.
You see, and they'll start getting tired. As they start getting tired, Jota already has showed that he's a big player. And seeing that he's a big player, he is going to bench Mane or Salah if they are playing trash.
True.
You see. So I don't know. I wish like certain teams could take a page, on what teams like Man City and Liverpool are doing.
Oh yeah, speaking about City, what do you think about their signing? Alvarez.
Alvarez. Well, I've heard good things about the player, and I remember when I first heard that Man United were looking to sign him, I went and checked out some highlights to see how good the player is. And I was excited. You know why I was excited? If Manchester ended up signing that player, it was that thing of not going for a Galactico type of player, going for a young player that, all over, let's say, South America and Europe, they're saying great things about him. That was me. I was like, you know what? I don't mind Man United signing, even though I don't really know him. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Because when you sign a player like that, it doesn't cost you so much. And you have so much opportunity to actually mold him to the type of player you want him to be. Already can score goals. He's a good player, he can score goals, he can pass. In terms of playing as a striker up front, he has the attributes that he needs. And imagine now, then going to a team like Man City, Pep will tell him exactly how he needs to play. I mean, we must not forget how Pep improved Sterling after Sterling moved from Liverpool to Man City.
Yeah.
Sterling used to miss so much. He went to Man City, worked with Pep, he became a great player. So that's what I'm saying. Looking at Alvarez, I wanted us to sign him, and I think they signed a good player. And as young as he is now, he's gonna become a great player. Because I mean, he will be the next Aguero. That's how I'm seeing it. He'll be the next Aguero, because Aguero is no longer there. They don't really have a striker because Torres left. You know, Gabriel Jesus doesn't really play as a striker when you check how they've played. So this kid will get there and actually play, and he'll start putting Aguero numbers at a very young age, because he's gonna do the same thing that Aguero was playing. Aguero was a striker, very skillful, and remember, Aguero came from Atletico. You see, he got signed from South America and then went to Atletico, if I'm not mistaken. Then from Atletico went to Man City. Man City now is signing a player that will play there for the next 20 years if no one buys him. He'll get to play there for the next 20 years, or 10 or 15, if no other team comes to try buy him. And here's the thing: when you play for a team like Man City, if you're always playing and you're not in the bench, you don't have an excuse to say you want to go play for another team, because already they have great players. With Man City, you have a team that can win trophies for the next 10 years or 15, because it's a well-oiled machine. The way they always buy their players, they're smart with it. Even if Pep leaves Man City, they already know which coach they're going to go and buy, because they know the coach we're going to go and get, or the manager, won't get there and do a lot. He just needs to be a coach that plays almost similar like Pep. And most players that he's going to go and buy, or the players that already Man City has, he'll be able to use those players, because they will go and get a proper coach who won't change so much when he comes to Man City, you know. So that's the thing when it comes to Man City. Whichever player they buy, they know that I'm buying this player. They actually start using him from day one. We saw with Grealish. As much as Grealish hasn't hit the numbers that he was hitting with Aston Villa, but he got to Man City and he started showing why they signed him, because he didn't get there and started playing a whole different way that he hasn't been playing. He gets there, Pep tells him, hold on to the ball, do this, pass, do this. Already he's a skillful player. The rest, he knows what he needs to do, you know. So that's what I'm saying, you know, with a player like Alvarez, I feel for the next 10, 15 to like 20 years, as long as Man City is still winning trophies and competing in the Champions League and is still able to sign big, good players, then he won't have a problem. I mean, check. There were people who were saying David Silva is leaving. Will they be able to you know, replace him? He's been replaced like he never left. You know, exactly. He's already being replaced. And even who's this guy, man? The one from Belgium, De Bruyne. De Bruyne is already replaced in a way, even though he's still playing for Man City.
Absolutely.
And the reason I'm saying is because remember, he was in the sidelines for so long, and Man City was still performing with the players that they have already. You see, you know, so that's why I get confused with certain teams, even when I'm not counting my team, which is Man United. You look at other teams, like, how are you not able to sign let's say a second striker or a third striker, you know, who you know that if my player is injured, he will perform, and there won't even be any clashes with game time, because the manager himself, he's able to make sure that everyone gets game time. You will never hear who's this Bernardo Silva complaining, and I feel he's a great player who's not getting enough game time as it is. But he's not complaining. He's still playing there. He's just there like, no, I'm playing. And you see, when his time comes, he plays so many great games, and he's not complaining. He's still playing, you know. But still, Pep or Man City, they'll still go buy more players, you know. They will still promote.
What's scary about these teams, you know? It's because when they buy players, it's not, they don't buy for the sake of buying. You know, it's like proper planning. You know, and
Yeah.
I think it's the DOF working with the technical director to see,
And-
you know, okay, this player in so and so is gonna need replacing. So let's already scout and see what you know, which kind of things are coming up and which can actually come and replace the players in the long term, and we try and get them on board. You know what I'm
You
saying?
see?
So that when they
Yeah.
get them, it's not a situation where those players have to immediately replace the players, these top players. They brought in to learn from these players
You see?
that are going to be replaced, and then they smoothly transition into taking over, obviously, over those players when they. So it looks like, you know, it looks like those players that haven't left. You know what I'm saying? And and that's how United used to be run until the Glazers came in. I think when the Glazers came in, everything just went rock bottom. People
Exactly.
when they played, there was no youth players were not at the time where they were supposed to be properly, and everything was just all over the place. Man. There was no organization. You know, there were no football people making football decisions anymore. Peter Kenyon went to Chelsea, and then you know, obviously this big skill, but then even he was somewhat set in terms of the things he wanted to do. You know, because
Yeah.
obviously the owners they were power hungry and they wanted to, you know, obviously impose themselves
Yeah.
way too much into the footballing decisions. And then, I'm like, this club is dead, man. I'm not gonna until we move these guys out, and it can be
Yeah.
done. You know what I'm saying? Liverpool did it. You know, I'm not trying to
Exactly.
hear this thing where people are saying people can't do it. You know, whatever they can. There's no such a thing in football. You know, we almost got them out, right? When they had that what you call it, that where they messed up with the super. Remember?
Yeah.
There was a major protest, and where we prevented games from happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then, you know, that stopped because we ended up signing Varane, Cristiano, and all these guys, and then that was it. That was it with the protest.
You see? Because there's a situation where they're talking about that. When the protest happened, most of us, we sort of realized that, okay, they can always go sign. Like, this is what they could have done. They could listen to the fans when the protest happened and then actually fix everything that everyone is complaining about. Imagine not having a director of football, because like you were saying, to add on what you were saying, when you have a director of football, no matter which coach comes in, the ideology of how a team should be playing remains the same. You know, you can go and catch this coach, it remains the same because the director of football is there on top. And he's the one who goes to get, let's say, the right coaching or the right manager, because you're continuing where you left. Even when you go get players, you know that, for example, as a Man United, you want, let's say, wingers that cross the ball, wingers that can take players on, but majority of the time, they cross the ball. They can cut in and shoot if they want, but the way they should be playing mostly is to link up play by being the one to carry the ball from the side, pass to the mid, or if you get given the ball on the side, you cross. As a Man United, you know that, okay, this is how we want to play. We have an ideology, an idea of how we want to play. Once you have that sorted, even the type of defenders you go and get will be around that idea that you have, even the type of midfielders. For example, Man United should have never went to buy a Maguire if we speak about, let's say, an idea of how we wanted to play. You know, and the reason I'm saying that, Maguire is very slow as a defender. And the way we play, we want defenders who are very pacey, so that when our defenders or centre backs push up to, let's say, the mid of the field, we can quickly get back if a team wants to counter us. You see, it's easy to then go and get and see which type of player you want to get, because you can't go and get a Maguire because he's slow, but you can go and get a Varane.
Especially if you're playing a high line, for example. Because now, obviously they just play the ball over the top. It's already a disadvantage for a guy.
You see exactly.
Yeah, man, but obviously, the best, man. I've gone to some tests. They're missing out on players. They're doing high players. Antonio Conte is having a nightmare.
No, he is. But one thing I know with him is that he will make a plan for other players because of the type of coach that he is. Like we said on the last podcast that we're in, that he's the type of coach who comes in a team and tells you, I want this and this beforehand, before you sign him as the new manager to your team. He tells you what he wants. So now you cannot when he wants those things and not get them those things. That's what I'm saying. I'm sure he will get another player that he might want. I'm sure there's other options. He will get them, be like, okay, I want this player. Because he's the type of coach or manager who will leave a project if they are not doing what he wants. I mean, we saw him leaving Inter Milan. He will leave a project. He left Chelsea after winning a league. Who thought the guy was going to leave after winning a league? He won the league, he left. He's like, nah, I'm not done with this. You don't want to get me the players I want. You don't want to listen to what I'm saying. Then I'm gone. And he left. And that's the type of manager I want Man United to have. You see it when it comes to this guy that we have now. I feel like he is the type of manager, but he's an interim right now. And because he's an interim, he can't really say much. He can say, because I remember listening to his conference, right? And he was being asked if are the players that Man United want. And he responded by saying, obviously we use what we have, but if you don't have a certain profile of a player in a certain position, you do want reinforcements, And he was right there. You will use what you have. But if you are given the opportunity to reinforce where you are short, you will go and do it. But what is Man United doing? They are not getting him the player that he wants. And like I was saying, there's not much he can do. He's an interim, And that's why now, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I saw rumors that he might be offered the job as the permanent manager. Right? I'm telling you. That's what I heard. That he might be, that he might be given the job in more permanent basis. Right? And I won't lie to you, I don't want it to happen because of one reason. What was agreed upon when he came into Manchester, I still want the deal to continue where he becomes like a director of football or as a consultant, because he knows football, right? Looking at the teams that he actually was pushing the same role, right? Yeah. Like your Red Bull, like your Leipzig, and there's a Red Star Red Bull, I forgot the name. Yeah. What he did when he got there by being in the business side, but more of the football side, by getting the right players for the coach. I want him to be that guy, And that's the deal that was agreed, that, okay, come in as an interim, and then when the season ends, you will then, for the next 2 years, be, up there with the board, and you'll be part of, the conversation and getting, let's say, the coach and the players, right? I don't mind him being there because I don't feel the guys that are already in those positions, At least he knows football. The people that we have right now, let's say in our board and let's say director of football, they don't really make the right decisions when it comes to football. So I would want him to then go to that position, and then we get a new coach, because there's so many rumors of which coach we might get, Pochettino or Ten Hag, There's so many rumors, but I would want a new coach who comes with a new ideology, looking at the players that we have, because I feel like that's always been the other problem. You can't get a defensive-minded type coach with attacking-minded type setup of players. You know, obviously there is a defensive side with a team, but when you look at majority, even with a defensive, let's say, side, when it comes to, let's say, the defense, certain defense are more attacking, right? You look at a player like Van Dijk playing for Liverpool. Yes, he's a defender and he's defensive, but his type of play, he's also offensive. He's able to pass the ball from the back and the ball will reach Salah or Mane because he has the accuracy, right? And he's able to play in the middle field while everyone pushes up, and he's able to then come back quickly because he has the pace. You know, he's playing attacking minded, but he can then revert back to being defensive because he has the right attributes to play. You know, so if I feel like if Man United just decides that, okay, you are an interim, when the season ends, you go up, and then we then look for the coach who will fit the players that we have now. I feel like, you know, that would be the best decision instead of our board making the decision on who should become the coach.
Yeah,
you know, because I feel like that's where they mess up. They don't know football, but they make decisions on football.
Yeah.
You see. So
it's tough, man. It's tough because this thing where the club is now being run by business people who know nothing about football. You know, we always keep rhetoric, and people are now at the point where they've just lost their aim.
Yeah.
And then it's like they're hoping out themselves. You know, but it's another ending cycle. I don't think we'll get out of it. But yeah, just before I want to shed a light on Spurs actually in talk for Dejan Kulusevski.
Oh, they want to get him.
Yeah,
wait,
because
the one from Juve, right?
Yeah, from Juve. They've been in negotiations since this morning. Because and then that move is still pretty much on. It's still added each time when I refresh my desktop. It's always
Nah, then I think it could go through. I foresee it going through. No, like I foresee it going through because it's one of those things that, like I said, when it comes to Conte, you know Conte as well. It doesn't play like that. You don't give me what I want, I'll leave. He doesn't care about the money. That's the type of coach I like. He left Chelsea while under contract after the season ended and was like, you're not getting me what I want, I'm gone. Did the same thing to Inter. He was like, I want this and this and this and this. Like, no, we don't want to. They're like, okay, cool. Remain with your club then. And let's see if you're gonna win the league again. And it might happen they do not win the league this season. And this is the type of coach that I like, who is straightforward. Like, no, you want me to play the right football and win, then give me the right players that I want. Because I feel like talking about the right players and a coach who speaks their mind, that's what has messed up Man United all this time. We've had about 3, 4, if not 5 coaches, and all of those coaches wanted certain players. But because in terms of in football, you don't have that standing or that respect, the board did not respect those coaches. I mean, you look at Moyes. You know, me hearing that Man United wanted to sign Cruz and sign Sergio Ramos, I think, around Moyes' time, I'm like, wow. That could have been great signings for Man United. Imagine. They wanted to sign, Moyes wanted to sign those players, but the board did what? They didn't get him the players he wanted. Instead, he ended up with players like Fellaini, you know. And I'm just thinking, if they had got us the players we wanted, you mentioned earlier, we could have signed players like David Silva, right? Imagine if we had signed David Silva during that time. He could have pushed us to a level, you know, where we could have still been winning leagues, maybe even now, even if maybe he was leaving football, because we would have been able to replace those players. Like, imagine now think of replacing a David Silva. When did he stop playing in England? I think was it what 2018?
Yeah, he played. He played for so long.
You see,
Much longevity, you know.
you see. So imagine if we had to replace David Silva now, who could have had a great player for so long. You see, instead we are always making that mistake of buying players that are nearing their finish line in terms of their playing time. Even when you signed Matic was already, I think he had like 2 years of giving Man United proper football.
Yeah.
You know, now he's tired now. He can't even play that role that long. He's tired. And then number two, you look at people like Mata. Even when Man United signed Mata, okay, Man United signed Mata, at least he played for 4, if not 5 years of proper football. But then he was surrounded by players that did not fit the type of play that he wanted to play. And number two, they then decided to play him out of position. They played him as a winger while he was supposed to be playing as a 10, playing in the center. So it's like you sign a player who is good for this, and then you play him out of position. How? You see, and that's why it makes me wonder, Uti, when is a Man United going to reach the type of the only way that can happen? And the funny part is this: we're speaking like this, me and you. We are Man United fans. We are English Premier League fans from Africa or from South Africa, to be specific. How many fans all over the world are seeing what we're seeing and are having their caucuses or groups on the side? They are saying the same thing that we're saying. They are seeing the same thing that we're seeing, and they are saying the same thing. But what is happening with our team or the board? They're not seeing half the things we're mentioning. If they could decide right now to come and say, Azini, let's go and sign Sims and Leso to be part of the football team to push forward transfers and the right standard of play in our team, we would do a better job than they are doing now, because we know what is needed. Like the number of fans all over the world were saying the same thing. Why not get this coach? Why not get this player? Why not do this? But they are not, and we are just mere fans who don't have any power or any standing when it comes to Man United. We're just mere fans. And it's like, okay, imagine if we were to be given that power to make a decision. How far would Man United be? But because they are not making those decisions, we're going to remain where we are right now. We dominated the English Premier League around Ferguson time for like so many decades, if not 2 decades. We dominated. But now what's happening? We can't do that because we don't have, let's say, we don't have the right coach. Okay, let's say when it comes to Ferguson, he didn't have maybe the right body or the right board, but he was a smart coach who controlled everything. He had his own coaches. The board didn't choose his coaches. He knew which coach he got. I remember saying when I was like, before Ole left, when I was like, okay, if the board don't want to sack Ole, then do this then. Do the same thing that Ferguson used to do. Go and get him the coaches that are right for the type of football he wants to play. You want to play attacking football? Go and get him those coaches. Because I remember reading, and I was shocked to actually read this when I read that Ferguson didn't always play with the same assistant or with the same coach or was his coaches. He didn't always come in the new season with the same coach. He will, when the season would finish, he will look at his team and look at how he now wants to play and how he wants his players to improve, and then go and get that assistant and then get those coaches. So by the time the new season starts, he has these new people who have new ideas who can add to what he knows. And then when they add from what he knows, even the players that they help him get are the right players that fit the type of ideas and the type of formation and tactics that the manager as Ferguson wants to play. So it made it easy. But right now, and I don't know who I was telling this to when I was like, why then are Man United not doing that? They could have continued with Ole if they wanted, but then get him the coaches. Don't just get Fletcher, someone who doesn't have experience in coaching, and say, oh, dog. It's like, how do you do that? How do you get Fletcher or get Carrick and say, no, you're the coach now. He doesn't have the necessary experience. So that is what is messing up in United. Jobs for the boys every time. Like, nah, give it to the boys. Ning Ning, I was hearing now they want to give Garrett is it Garrett Newville a role or something. You know, the new exactly. You see, and that's where my problem is. Like, how you see you've been failing, but you're still giving jobs to the boys, and the boys are failing. So it's rough, bruh.
Honestly, this thing, it's a joke, you know. And I feel like it's like they're gonna end up taking because they themselves are the ones who are running the ground by making silly mistakes. And they keep making it like it's like they don't listen, they don't care, you know.
You see.
You know, it's a I mean, what is Gary Neville? What does Gary Neville do to be, or rather, what has he achieved to be in that sort of position that they want to give him?
He hasn't achieved anything.
For those kind of positions, you can't be throwing people just like now. Fletcher, technical director. But the guys on the bench giving advice to help pregnant right now.
Exactly.
People are like, what the hell is happening?
How? It's like, why is he having words with the current coach? He was in the backroom staff, but now he's now an assistant. Like, where did he get the experience? Like, I'm shocked when it comes to this team. I'm really shocked.
The guys in training wearing tracksuits and then playing up players.
You see,
and they're playing touch, taking free kicks, picking up
you see.
cones. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I'm just tired. I'm just tired of committed at the moment.
Nah, dog. Like, you're within reason to be tired. Like, it's one of those. And like I said, right now it's just me and you as the Man United fans speaking. But imagine how many fans are tired who are like, nah, fam, I'm tired. You know, if it was that easy to just ditch and change a team, I'm pretty sure would have changed this team long time ago. But it doesn't work that way. You choose a team, especially people who love football and support a team and are actual honest and, fans are like, no, I stick with one team. You'll forever support that team, no matter how many times they'll continue messing up, Yeah. And that's why I have a problem. It's like, no matter how many times Man United, there's like a transfer, Man United will always get it wrong. That's why you see that the people above are the ones messing up. For the past, because when I started paying attention more in terms of the type of signings they make, let me say, for the past, obviously after Ferguson left, we didn't think whatever signing they make is going to make too much of a difference. We felt we still had a good team, right? So Ferguson leaves, and then it's like, now fast forward 2, 3 or 4, 5 years later, we're still making the same mistake, if not worse now, And it's like, what must happen? If we're not loyal fans, we would have ditched this team long time ago, because we see the cracks, we see the mistakes they're making, but they are not seeing that. And it's like, okay, if I'm seeing this and I'm here, how are you looking at the team and how are you observing the team? What comes to your mind when you look at the team and we haven't really won a major trophy? At times we have to even go play Europa. Imagine a team like Man United playing Europa League. We're out here fighting for top 4. It's like, Haibo, how are you fighting for top 4 when you should be the one causing havoc in the Champions League? If you're fighting for top 4, because remember, there were seasons we didn't qualify for the top 4, which meant we're in the Europa League, and we still failed, to win. Even when we went to the final, we lost 2 semi-finals, and then we lost the final. And then you're gonna come and tell me that, because I've always said this. Even the last time I said I'm a Cristiano Ronaldo fan, right? I followed his career from when he moved from, let's say, Sporting and went to Man United. And I like the type of player that he is, because of his work rate. He has the talent, but he still pushes himself more than any other player. And I'm like, okay, I look at a player like that, a player like, Cristiano Ronaldo, if everyone, let's say, if we're signing the type of players that have the same type of mindset as him, would be so far, right? And then I look at people who are trying to blame players like Cristiano Ronaldo right now as he's playing for Man United, saying he's the cause for everything that is happening. And I'm like, how is he the cause when everything that has been happening now has been happening even during all the time? Remember, I counted 2 semifinals and a final. The past 3 years, this has happened. We haven't won anything. We haven't had a team that believes in themselves and goes to win. And then Cristiano comes in, and then you're going to now say the reason Man United is not scoring goals or performing like they should be performing is because Cristiano is here. How? We haven't won.
Those people are just trolling, because honestly, from a logical sense, like you can see that the Ronaldo move was more like it exposed basically what they've always been having in the club.
True.
You can't sit here and say, people, okay, what did you
Exactly.
What did you really see? So you can't say that he's the one and we just started. We've been. You understand?
You see? Exactly. So it really doesn't make sense when you hear people making this comparison and then saying he's a cause. Because I remember saying this to someone when I was like, imagine if you had a Cristiano Ronaldo in these 2 semifinals and the final. Because if you look at the final, for example, to be specific, the final itself, we lack people who could put the ball in the net. We had Martial, we had Rashford, I think we also had Greenwood, but they could not score, right?
Exactly.
And I was like, imagine if you had a player like Cristiano Ronaldo during that time. You know that with Cristiano, if he gets, let's say, 5 or 6 chances, you know that at least 2 or 3, he's going to put them away. And one thing that I've always complained about Rashford, who currently plays for Man United, he will get 6 or 7 clear chances, not just a chance, 6 or 7 clear chances. He will score 1.
Yeah.
While other players, those 6 or 7 clear chances, they'll score a hat-trick. You see, there's a reason Cristiano has so many hat-tricks in his career, because he's lethal when it comes to scoring. And that's what Man United lacked. And then he got to Manchester right now. We were lacking scorers, because your Greenwood, your Rashford did not even start with the season, but they were not scoring. And then what did Cristiano do? He plastered those cracks, because of his prowess. He's such a great player that as much as we're not, because one thing that I feel most people don't see with Man United, our midfield is trash when it comes to actually creating chances for our strikers. And no matter who plays, it can be Cavani, it can be Cristiano, it can be Lewandowski, it can be Messi if you want. But our midfield fails to get the ball to those people. So no matter who you play, the same thing will remain. But as much as the midfield was not giving the ball properly to Cristiano, what did he do when he got to Man United? He still scored. He scored more than 10 goals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
With a trash midfield. Because we lack a center defensive midfield that can actually mark and grab the ball and intercept and actually then pass. Because that's what we're lacking right now. McTominay and Fred can't pass the ball to save their lives. If he has to do a nice through pass there when Cristiano has made a run, or when Greenwood, or when Rashford has made a run, or even when Bruno has made a run, they can't. Every time, majority of the time, their balls get intercepted. And it's like, then tell me this, guy, how are these people up front supposed to score when you, as the person who's supposed to assist them, your ball gets intercepted? Bruno cannot work alone in the middle field to assist. Because if, let's say, a team like Liverpool that has a smart coach sees that, okay, Bruno is the problem, let's close down Bruno. Then who else is supposed to then assist?
Yeah.
I mean, if you close down Bruno, then at least a McTominay or a Fred should be able to then take the responsibility and be like, okay, in this game, Bruno cannot assist as much. When they are closing him down, I'll be the one to assist. But instead, they don't do that. Like, I've seen Fred play good football, and I'm like, why can he not be as consistent as he played in this game? Even McTominay, I've seen about 3, if not 4 games. The first game that I saw McTominay play like a whole different player was when I think last season he played against Leeds. He was so great in that game that even Bruno, when the game finished, he called him, he made a joke and called him a Brazilian. He made like a nickname for him. I don't remember what he said. I don't know if he said McTominay or what he said, but he said the way he played in that game, because he was doing everything. He was marking the ball, he was dribbling, he was assisting, he even scored in the game, you know. And I think we beat Leeds, I think it was more than 3 goals, and he performed in that game, you see.
Yeah.
And same this season, I think it's 2 games that I can make an example when it comes to McTominay. There's a game when already the new coach, the interim, Ragnick, when already was here. I don't remember which game we were playing, but he was performing. He even scored. He scored. Did he score or he scored in that game? And I think he hit post like twice. He scored a long range and then hit post like twice. Everything he was doing, from intercepting, from marking, from taking on players, from dribbling, everything was great. And then I was like, me and many people like, you know, if McTominay can continue playing like this for the rest of the season, then we don't need a center defensive midfield. But what happened? Came the next game, he played trash. You see, so so it's rough, bruh. It's rough.
Yeah, man. And Rooney apparently turned down
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
He was trying to avoid the whole sort of thing, because he wanted to actually build himself up. Doesn't want to throw himself on the deep end. So
exactly.
He says in his defense, he says that one day obviously he wants to be a Premier League manager. But at the moment he's double county and he wants to and manage so that he, you know what I'm one day that doesn't wanna just throw himself.
Yeah. No, but I agree with that though. Like, you see, looking at a Rooney, I foresee a Rooney becoming a Man United manager if he just continues like how he's doing now. If he continues with, you know, Davy, because the type of football that he plays is good-looking football, right? And he doesn't actually have the right players. I mean, his team is last because they took points away from them. And he's trying to keep them up. Excuse me. He doesn't want to just teach them and leave them like that. He wants to imagine if he's able to get them up and they and they stay in the championship. If he does that, then it's done something that most coaches haven't been able to do. Because like I said, in the situation that he's in, it's very rough that, you know, if he keeps them in, he's done great. And any team that can come and say, you know what, we want to give you a run, you know, that will work for him. Because if he can continue coaching Davy for the next 2-3 years, I hope he stays up and coaches Davy now in normal circumstances where they do not deduct points for him, and let's see where he finishes. Imagine he manages to actually get them into the English Premier League. You know, even if he plays one season and then that season is trash, there will be a lot of teams that will come and take him. I mean, let's use people like Lampard. There's a reason Chelsea decided to then go and get to Lampard. You see? Because he got there, he did great, and then after doing great, they're like, you know what? We're gonna take a chance on you. And he played one season. The season was great, right?
Yeah.
And look at Gerrard right now. Gerrard is coaching Aston Villa. He knows what he's doing, because there's that thing of certain players being taken as coaches because they are that type of a player, or they used to be that type of a player. Rooney recognizes that he used to be a great player, but at the same time, he knows that he needs to build his, his CV as a coach or as a manager, right? And the only way to do that is to start with the small teams. If he is starting with the small teams, play attractive football that will make everyone go, you know what? As much as he's playing in a smaller league or with a smaller team, you see how he wants to play, And that's what Gerrard did with Rangers. Gerrard got there, played good, won the league with Rangers, and he won the league against a team that has been dominating that league for the past 6 or 7 years, if not long, right? But he got there and he dominated, won the league, and then left. Now he's coaching Aston Villa. We were all watching Aston Villa. They were playing, but they were not playing the way they play now. Now they are a different type of breed now. They can beat any team they want to beat. Even when I remember watching them play against Man City and Liverpool, they might have lost those games. Was it Man City or Chelsea? I know it was Man City. I don't know if the next team was Chelsea or Liverpool. But what I remember is that he got there and actually gave them a tough game. If it wasn't for his players who missed, or for that one goal, like using Man City as an example, they actually played great. Pep was shaking in his boots when he watched how the game was going, because you could see, when Pep is telling his players to do something and then it's not coming out the way he wants it to happen.
Yeah.
He even said himself that, hey, that game was a tough game. And everyone now is doing what? Is recognizing Gerrard as he's actually a good coach. And if he continues this way, if Klopp decides to leave, or they decide to sack Klopp, one way or another, it will make sense to say they want to go and get Gerrard. They're not just getting him because he's a former Liverpool player. If they do go and get him. Exactly. You see, so it won't be because of that. Because if you look at what Man United did with Ole, it's not because Ole went and did something great with some team. He actually failed. He relegated Cardiff, and then after relegating them, they sacked them. He got fired, and then after getting fired, I think he then went back to the league in Norway, and then after doing that, he won the league with them. How does that then make you a coach to coach Man United? You coached Molde, a team that's playing in Norway. How does it doesn't mean that now you're a good coach to come, And and that's a problem. Man United got him as an interim, but then because he was doing great, they didn't get rid of him afterwards. And I feel like if they had done that, most of the things we're experiencing now, we wouldn't have experienced them.
Yeah.
You see, because we would have had him as the interim, and it would have kept us playing good football. And then after that, when the season ends, we then go and be like, Exe, thank you for the work you've done. But thank you for the work you've done. And then you go get a new coach, because interim, and that's the thing when it comes to an interim will get there and make the team play the greatest football ever, right? Maybe even win a league. And the reason I'm saying this, I remember this former Chelsea coach. I just forgot his name. He used to play for them as well. I forgot his name, but he won the league, if not the Champions League, with them, right? And he came in as an interim. But then after that, what happened? The next season, when he had to now start a new season from scratch, he started messing up, and then they fired him. Because from being an interim to now having to, because not Martinez, just forgot who, just forgot the guy's name, but I think he might be Spanish or forgot the guy's name. But he got there, won the league if it was in the Champions League, and then he had to now start the season, a new season. He failed. They sacked him. The same thing that happened with Lampard. Lampard was doing good, doing great. Everything was awesome until when the new season started and he had the players that he wanted. He failed. You know, and when it comes to Man United, they're always giving these coaches a chance. It's amazing how they kept Ole for like 3 seasons while he was messing up. They kept him for 3 seasons and he was messing up. You know, so
that's the problem, because I feel like you gotta understand. This is why I feel like a while for many defense to somewhat get over this body lower expectations of the club.
Yeah.
When Ole was coming, or rather, should I say, when Ole was, should I say, the fan base.
Yeah.
Telling us, time. Give it 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years.
Imagine.
The team will be playing cohesively. And I'm like,
how?
No. I feel like what Tuchel was like a blessing in because it exposed.
Yeah.
What we were trying to do at actually understand.
Yeah.
You cannot be telling me it takes you 2 years or 1 year to get people aggressively as a unit. There's not such a thing. If you have a style of play and you have an idea on how you implement the style, you can do it within 3 or 4 months.
You can exactly. You can.
People forget that they're like, Klopp took 2 years or 4 years.
No. Yeah.
But let me tell you something. Klopp did it even with the set of players he did. Like the set of players he inherited in his first season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Defense. You understand?
No, true.
So
no, he did.
When you try to explain that people, and I think they hit the two emotional invested in Solskjaer. And now the problem is Ralph has to deal with the aftermath of all those effects Solskjaer imposed on United. We have to now recover and get rid of the sky. And it's not as easy as we thought. Because these players are not coached. They're not trained. They're not fit. There's so many problems, and they think that they deserve to be in the starting 11, doing anything on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
True.
Yeah, it's just a sad thing. I think we'll get them. But if they hire Ralph on a full-time basis as a permanent, I'm done. I'm not gonna lie. I'm done.
Nah, true. No, and it's one of those things. It's understandable you being done, because it's like you sit there as a loyal fan and you look at how the team that you're supporting is being run, and you see the cracks, you see what they can do or try to do better, but they are not. And it's like, what are you guys still waiting for? Because like I'm saying, they are doing all of these things. They are waiting. They are doing all of these things. They are waiting instead of actually making the decision and being like, okay, we want the team. Because the one thing that confuses me is this: they want the board or the owners. They want to make money, right? And like, okay, you want to make money. Do you realize that you can actually make money and make more of it when we actually perform? But it doesn't seem like they are grasping that, because you can go and spend less money for the actual right players that you need, and then get the right coaches, and then get the right manager, and let the manager choose maybe his coaches and his assistant, instead of trying to force coaches that are already in the team. Because if you look at Man United for the past 3, 4, if not 5 years, there's certain coaches that have been there for the longest time, and every manager that had to come in was sort of forced to continue working with those managers, with those coaches or assistants. You know, you look at Mourinho. Mourinho coached Carrick, and then Carrick became like his coaching something. And Carrick remained there until Ole got fired. Imagine Ole got fired, and then they brought in who? The interim. Carrick was still there. If it wasn't for the fact that Carrick chose to leave because of loyalty, he would have still been there because the board itself keeps those coaches. Look at right now, McPhillan, that old guy. McPhillan he's past it. He might have worked at Ferguson, but he's past it. You hear rumors that he doesn't coach the players. He's not the manager. Then it's like, okay, what does he do then? If he is not in the field coaching the players, what is he getting paid for then? He's getting paid. I mean, what job title does he hold for him to continue getting paid? And then I then hear other rumors that around the time when there were leaks that, you know, certain players are not clicking with the coaches, or they are not clicking with the manager. You hear rumors like the board spoke to McPhillan so that McPhillan can go and galvanize the team and, you know, get them together. And it's like, why? He's not the coach. He's not the manager. Why should he be the one to get the players gelling together? You know, the one who should be trying to do that is the one who's actually coaching them, who's actually telling them how to play, not someone who you don't even understand their role in the team. No one really understands this guy's role in the team. He's just there. And everyone else has left. But not everyone else, though, because the other messed up part is that the coaches, even under 19 coaches, even under 20 or under 16, under 22, whatever, levels. And the reason I'm saying those coaches is because they're players that are coming from, let's say, those levels, like your Ilanga, your Greenwood. They are still being coached how, let's say, the main manager wants them to play when it comes to the main the main starting 11. Because look at a Greenwood, for example. I said if a Greenwood is playing as a winger and he came from the development, how is he playing the same way Rashford is playing? Instead of being coached and being told, okay, you as a winger, you must prioritize putting the ball more in the box. You can dribble as many players as you want, but prioritize getting the ball in the center but in the 18-yard area so that the ones you're assisting for score. But if you don't do that and you're supposed to be playing that role, it's like, then how are these people coaching? You're a coach, you know, coaching this youngster to go and then to end up playing for the senior team. What is the communication between senior team and senior coaches and, you know, looking at, you know, the younger coaches? What is the communication? How are they communicating? How are they communicating and saying, okay, I want players to be playing like this? And, you know, when I say that, I remember watching some video one time, and this person was saying, you look at a Liverpool, no matter how many players Liverpool buy, or no matter how many players Liverpool develop and they bring up to the senior team, they will play the same way that the coach wants them to play. There won't be any difference. If it's a left back or it's a left winger, they'll play the same. They'll play the same way as Mane. If the person who's coming in the development is going to be playing in Mane's position for that game, he's going to play the same way. Obviously, he's going to be different because in terms of talent, it's different. In terms of speed or whatever, it's different. But the tactic is going to be the same. If Klopp gets there and say, okay, we're playing a 4-3-3 and I want you, Mane, on the left to run through players and cross the ball, he's going to do that. He won't do something different. He's going to go there and do it as different as it is of a player to, let's say, someone else who plays in that position. He's going to get there and do what the coach told him. He's going to get there, dribble the players if he's dribbling. He's going to run past them and he's going to cross. If he cuts in, he's going to cut in, but after cutting in, he's going to pass. You know, they play the same. You won't see, let's say, even Jota got signed from Wolves, but he got there and played the same way that every front player of Liverpool he got and played the same way.
Mm.
You know, and you come to Man United, you're like, okay, Man United, how do you guys do your thing? How does, let's say, maybe, let me make an example. Who can I find that I can make an example with? Because our players, so many of them are so selfish. Okay, let me make an example of Cavani, for example. Cavani is a striker, right? But as much as Cavani is a striker, when Cavani finds himself on the side, he's able to cross or pass the ball. He has, if I'm not mistaken, he has more assists than Rashford in the past 2 seasons, right? And it's like, okay, how does then Rashford, as a winger, you're a winger, but you have less assists? A guy who's a striker recognizes and realizes that, okay, if I'm on the side, I cannot score on the side, and I must not force to score on the side. I see another striker or another player who's getting in the position I was supposed to be in. Let me pass him, you know, because that's one thing that most people have said, that when it comes to a Man United team, it's like they don't play a game and look at how the game is moving. If the type of football that he plays is running past players and always wants to dribble, he's going to continue playing like that. He won't look at the situation at that moment, what is happening. You know, you'll find a Greenwood and you'll find a Greenwood or a Rashford, and that's why I've always gotten pissed off, you know. And I won't be told otherwise by anyone, even if the person is a Man United fan or not, because I also watch football and I observe football or how they are playing at that time, like I'm observing it.
Yeah.
You'll find who's this Greenwood coming with the ball from the right-hand side. Comes with the ball, dribbles nicely, and like, okay, nice one. Who's this? Nice one, Greenwood. Now pass. And when I'm saying pass, I'm not saying pass because my favorite player is the one who's in position. I'm saying pass because he's in position, not because I want my favorite player to pass the ball. I'm saying pass because he's in position, you know, or cross because he's in the right position to score, you know. But Greenwood or Rashford won't do that. They will try and cut in to the point they even try and shoot. And it's like, and then it's like, how, dude? How do you shoot all the time? Don't you want to try and do something?
The funny thing with that, the player who does is on loan now. You understand?
The player,
it's sad. You understand? Marshall is the one that, when he gets into this sort of position, you know, he's gonna create chances.
Exactly.
Remember the goal that he scored in the last minutes against West Ham.
Yeah.
If you have Greenwood in that position, or you have Rashford in that position, do you think they would have passed to the striker? Do you think the ball would have passed?
Nah. Like, because
I'm telling you.
Exactly. Yeah. No, true, bro. They will try and shoot because we're saying this because we've seen it so many times. We've seen Greenwood or Rashford get to the position that Cavani was in. Because in the position that Cavani was in, you can't shoot from there. But what will happen? You'll see Greenwood saying that, okay, I have the ball here. He will force to cut in so that he can shoot. And once you start doing that, obviously, it's not like the opposition team are going to just watch you or sleep and watch you take the ball and put it in or score. They will track you and take the ball from you. And at the end of the day, the ball is a lost ball while you had an opportunity to actually pass. And that's what I'm saying. I've seen so many instances where it was Cavani or it was Cristiano, because the last time I spoke to someone and I said they are not passing because it's Cristiano playing up front. The person was saying, they also want to make it in football. So why will they always try and pass Cristiano? You see? So they're saying that why should they always pass Cristiano? Because they also want to make it in football, you know. And for them to make it, they have to do half the things that Cristiano did. But one thing they are not realizing is that when Cristiano got to Man United, he used to love dribbling a lot and all that. And then he was taught, he learned as well that for me to actually be more progressive in my football, to make sure that the team wins, I need to limit this tricks, this dribbling, and try to get the ball in the center more. and that's what he did. And but still, he was still able to score, and that should be a lesson to players like Greenwood and Rashford. Cristiano was still able to score while putting up the numbers of assists. He was still able to score, the number of goals that he scored. But instead, like I've said, I've heard someone say, no, they are not passing, like I said, because it's Cristiano. But then who was playing up front? The person who was playing up front was Cavani. The game finished without Cavani having even one chance at goal. And it's like, okay, so now Cavani is a striker. Cavani must play to go and mark the ball. Because remember when people were saying, no, Cristiano must press. And I'm like, but he is pressing. But I was like, but for the type of player that he is, he won't press like someone who's in the mid. Because if he presses too much and he ends up being out of position, it means when now the ball is won, he won't be in a position to score. He no longer has you see, he no longer has the pace that he had when he played for Ferguson. When he played for Ferguson, he could take the ball from his side when, let's say, it was a corner and run past players and then pass it to someone and then run to go. There's that famous goal, I think you might remember it as well, where Cristiano, it was a corner, and then when it was a corner, they won the ball. Cristiano took the ball, gave the ball to Rooney, and then after giving the ball to Rooney, and then he ran. Like, he ran so much. Then after running, Rooney saw that, okay, looking at the players that are coming, the one who would be in the right position to score is Cristiano. He passed the ball to Cristiano because the defenders for Arsenal were out of position. He came in sliding in and scored, But now, right now, he can't do that as much. Back then, he used to press more because he had the pace. He used to go and get the ball at the back if he was supposed to. But he had the pace to then cover, the space. Now he doesn't. Imagine having to go all the way back, and then now you're not able to score. And we've seen it happen this season. It's like, for example, the goal that Rashford scored. If Cristiano was not the one who won the ball and then passed it to Martial, who Martial then passed to Cavani, Cristiano would have been in the position that Rashford was in to actually score. You see, Rashford would have been the one who could have passed the ball, because he wouldn't have been in that position, But Cristiano, who is the main striker at that time, in that moment, he was not even in a position to do what? To be in the striking position. Instead, he got the ball, quickly passed the ball to Martial. Martial ran past people, and then after doing that, Martial passed the ball to Cavani. All Cavani had to do was then just slip the ball through for Rashford. And then Rashford, it was easy. Tap in and then done. You see?
Yeah,
and that's what I always say. Greenwood and Rashford can just decide to play like that, where if you're in a position to score, and we've seen it with, I'll use a player who's also our player, Sancho. Sancho has scored 2 goals this season, not because he was selfish, because he allowed the play to determine which position he's going to end up being in. If he's in the shooting position, he saw the chance and he shot and he scored. Not Greenwood or Rashford, who force to be in a position to score, even when they are not. I agree. We've seen them win us games so many times when they decide to be selfish. But in the same games, the way they decided to be selfish and we won games, there were chances where they could have passed the ball, but they decided to be selfish, which meant that we didn't get to score the goals we could have scored because they were selfish. So I really don't know what must happen or which coach must come through to actually. I feel like even the coach won't have enough power. I feel it should be a whole change, break down the whole structure, sell the team, get a owner who actually wants to see Man United get back to winning ways. You see.
Fully agree. So obviously, PSG are now they're trying to get Dembele.
Yeah.
So from Spurs and that deal, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Because now from a Spurs perspective.
Yeah. Well, I won't lie to you. This Ndombele deal is quite a weird deal when you look at it, because it's like you look at PSG. PSG has all the type of players that they need, right? You don't see like they are short with a player like Ndombele, and the reason I'm saying that, they can end the season and they can go and buy a proper midfield that they want. They don't really need to, take Ndombele. Because if you look at what's this, Tottenham as well, doesn't make sense for them because they don't really have so many good midfielders. He's a good, skillful midfielder, even though he hasn't really gotten his chance like he should have, or he got his chance, he didn't really maybe take his chances, right? So it makes sense that Pochettino, who actually signed Ndombele, wants Ndombele to be in the same team that he's in, because he knows how he wants to utilize him, right? Because he signed the player, and I understand Conte wanting the player to go, because it's not only who's this Conte who complained about Ndombele, even Mourinho, he had issues with Ndombele. I don't know if it doesn't work as hard. I don't really know what was, the situation. Even that other guy used to coach our Wolves. Forgot it. Is it Santos something? Forgot his name.
Yes,
The-
Santos.
Yes. Even him, he tried using Ndombele, but there was always just something that didn't allow Ndombele to actually, So I don't know if they didn't know how to use him, or he doesn't like working hard. I really don't know. Because even Mourinho had a problem with him. Even, so this guy has had problems with so many of the coaches that have coached him. Because it's like, I don't know, they don't really know how to use him, or he's not really putting in as much as he should. So it makes sense for Conte, because Conte wants to get rid of him and then maybe use some of that money to then sign the player he wants. But from how I'm looking at it, it's going to be a loan and not a permanent deal, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a loan deal because apparently what's stalling the move right now is his high wages. Apparently, earns something like around 200. His high wages. Apparently, earns something like around 200K.
Yeah.
So apparently PSG are worried about his state of mind. Apparently, so I don't know. That's why they see that he's not performing at Spurs. And that's one of the reasons why they see why he doesn't perform.
Yeah.
That could be,
Yeah, when it comes to that one, it's really, I won't lie, it's really weird. Because that Conte needs players, but he's willing to let a player go. It tells you a lot that maybe he's not as committed, like you mentioned, his state of mind. Maybe he's not as committed. I don't know. Maybe he's not putting in everything that he should be. So with a coach like Conte, we've had even players that have played for him. He wants you to fully commit and fully put in, so that he can get out what he wants to get out from you putting in what you're putting in. So it's one of those situations that in a position, it's a tricky situation. Let me say for Conte, but at the same time, if he gets rid of Ndombele, then it opens up more opportunity for him to get the players that he wants. Let's hope maybe there's a buy option. If they loan him to PSG and there's a buy option, it's only 6 months left of the seasons, then they can then use some of that money to finance maybe getting other players that Conte wants.
Yeah.
And
Bayern apparently want to. I think they want to sell Sul and Thomas Muller.
Yeah. Okay, I know about the Sule situation.
Yeah, apparently Spurs want Muller. They're interested in him.
Nah, but where is he gonna play, fam? Like, my thing is, the reason I'm saying where is he going to play is because he's a striker. There's already unless if Kane is leaving.
Yeah,
Unless if Kane is leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless if Kane is leaving, then that deal would make sense. But if Kane now is settled and doesn't want to leave, then it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because there's already Son, there's already who's this? Kane, there's already Yola Celso, there's already that guy who came from PSG, the Brazilian guy.
Lucas Moura.
Lucas Moura. Like, and there's Bedouin as well. You know, in those positions, the three positions up front, there are already a lot of players who play. So my thing is, Kane is the main striker. When you sign Muller, where is Kane playing? Where is Son playing? Where is Lacelso? Where is Lucas playing? Where is Pedro? Already they wanted to get rid of Pedro by taking him to loan to Ajax.
Yeah.
But he's performing. You see. So to me, it's like, then what must happen? Tell us what must happen. This the situation. It's like, where is Muller? Because the Sule situation, I understand, because he's in the same situation as your Pogba and them. If Bayern doesn't get the chance to sell him, then he'll be able to leave on a free. You know, he'll leave as a free agent. He'll discuss with any team that he wants, and he can sign for any team because this team won't be spending any money in terms of transfer. They will just give him the amount of money that he wants to be paid. So that's the situation that Sule is in. So he doesn't want to sign a new contract. That's what I remember. But the Muller one, though, ne?
And apparently, it's Chelsea wanted, because obviously, with Rudiger, he's also in the same contract, and his contract is running out.
Yeah.
These players have found
you see, when it comes to Rodrigo, ne? I'm pretty sure you might have read the rumor as well. When they were still discussing about his contract, if he'll sign or not. And then there was a rumor that Man United will be interested to sign him if he doesn't sign a new contract with Chelsea. You know, and that it's one of those things. I don't see that happening because I feel like Rudiger is going to sign a new deal, but he wants to press them and put them in a corner where they have to give him the money that he wants. Because he wants exactly. So he might let the contract run because it's only 6 months left, and then after he's done that, if Chelsea is still reluctant in giving him the money that he wants, then he can go to Barcelona. He can even go to Liverpool. If he's willing to come to a Manchester, he can even come to a Manchester. Because imagine a player like him coming in a Manchester and then maybe playing up at the back with Varane. We're done. We're solid. You know, and Barcelona as well. They have aging centre backs. You know, if Barcelona is not my team, but because I've paid attention, like the type of players they have aging, if not aged already. PK is dusted. PK is dusted, but oh well. He's still there. So Rudiger, I'm pretty sure because Barcelona won't have to pay any transfer fee. All they have to do is just get him as a free agent, and I feel like they won't even have issues with registering Rudiger. They don't pay any transfer fees. Just come in, we give you the money that you want, done. You see? So it's one of those situations. I'm like, Rudiger can even, because Rudiger has never played for Bayern, right?
No, he hasn't.
Nah, then I foresee him potentially maybe going to Bayern.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, German team, he's German. Most of the time, there's German players, when they get tired in playing in some of this leagues they're playing for, and they're still very fresh. I mean, look at, is it Sane? Sane went went and decided to play for Bayern. Moved from England, one of the best leagues, but it's like, nah, I'm gonna go to England. Who is this player? Upamecano. Okay, he was playing in Germany, but most teams were looking for him. Man United wanted him. I know Real Madrid wanted him. I know Liverpool wanted him. You know, but he decided, nah, I'm gonna go to Bayern. You know.
Yeah.
So, you know, with like German players at times, that's why if Rudiger doesn't sign a new deal with Chelsea, then I think
it's going to.
But also, who's this Christiansen, the Chelsea player? I think he might. I don't know if.
Yeah,
I think he might also be in the same situation. Eh?
Yeah, he's actually. I think he's going.
Oh, so they have about two. Yeah, so they have about two center backs that want to leave. So that is something else. That's something with he. You will see how it goes. But yeah, at the end of the day, there's still a lot of great players. It's just that certain teams refuse to scout properly.
Nah. But my guy. In closing, man. This transfer, and news will always keep coming. I think in the next couple of hours or so, we're gonna see done.
No, true.
This season, I feel like for the rest of the season. So it's gonna be very tight. In the top four race, as well as and Arsenal as well. No, man. Obviously, we discussed that and we probably summarized everything. The past, the whole joining me on the show once again and picking up your time. Definitely will have the whole.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. Like the last time, I enjoyed, this platform, to just sit in and discuss about football, but today mostly transfers. So it's gonna be, like you said, it's gonna be interesting. The next few hours or even a day, a lot will be happening because most teams now, the English Premier League, I think, is in a winter break. Is it the English Premier League or all the teams? I think all the leagues, they're in a winter break. So
there's no games happening.
Yeah. So seeing that there's no games, it's the easiest way to even focus more on transfers. You don't have to look at the games. So even once those teams don't have to make excuses of being like, no, games are playing, we can't, focus on transfers. So yeah, a lot is still gonna happen. I still feel teams like Aston Villa are still gonna shock us. Teams like Newcastle, Tottenham, Arsenal, because these are teams that are actually trying to achieve something by getting these signings. Newcastle is trying to stay up. Arsenal is trying to get into the top four. Same with Tottenham. What's this? Aston Villa is trying to get into the mid-table, like your number 8, number 7. So like there's a lot happening. So yeah, I foresee a lot happening. I think we're still going to be shocked with some of the decisions and transfers that are going to happen. I'm just hoping that maybe Man United can get, because we just need one. If we can just get that one. But yeah, I enjoyed, the discussion, dog, and yeah, hoping for more and more. I see next time I'll make my appearance instead of hiding and showing a Man United. Nah, I'll make the appearance. Don't worry, and I'll try and make sure that I convince the cousin as well, to also, because I think it's more fun when we were all using the video option, and then we're getting the reactions. Because if I'm saying something, I can see your reaction. So next time we're doing it, first appearance. First, I can say what? First official appearance. Yeah.
Nah, man, blessings and thanks again. But we might have to go live on the deadline.
Yeah. No, we can yeah. No, let's definitely do it. Like Monday, right? Yeah, let's definitely do it.
Yeah,
Do a
is on
deadline.
Monday.
Yeah,
It's on Monday.
yeah. No, let's do it and just as some of this deals are done, we're just live, following them and tracking them. So yeah, I think that would be interesting to just track them like that.
Nah, man, big ups, man.
Yeah. Now, thanks again, man. Have a good one. Yeah.
You too, my G. Stay blessed.
Away.
That was Sims. We were just covering the latest talks in transfer rumors, and as well as in everything that was happening in football. This past whole month. I know we haven't been addressing the transfer rumors and since the transfer window started. So we're just pretty much summing that up right now with Sims. And last time we also had Celso as well. So shout out to everyone who joined the show, and shout out to everyone who made a contribution. Shout out to people who shared the video, and it helps the channel so much. So shout out to you guys who joined in. Press play. Shout out to you for the comments. And I know you're a Liverpool fan, and it's so awkward watching two United fans talk about these things. But hopefully you join in next time. Press play. You must join in next time, man. And I wanna hear your views on the Liverpool side of things. But yeah, man, guys. Till next time. Obviously, we're also gonna come back on deadline day with Sims as well, and probably with more guests as well to do the deadline day transfer. So yeah, man, guys, this is the List of Football Paper Talk, and I am signing out.
After 12 years.
Good game, man. Really good game.
Like I said to Martinelli.
Hello, Antonio. Nice to see you again.
Hello, good afternoon.
It's gone through Laporte. Rodri!
Dieser Lewandowski-Auftritt sorgt für Wirbel.
Looks like you lost another one.